another victim for complete control. Reaping final body parts. Surgical precision taken on the will be sold. Slave line.
Hey Paul.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you very much. We're waiting for Monia that's connecting with us.
Okay.
How are you there? Sorry.
Doing all right.
How's the situation there?
Yeah, it's it's all right. It's not too bad. Could be worse, so that's for sure.
Oh, that's good. We're going back in a bad situation.
Yeah, it's crazy, it stinks to hear,
Yeah, it's really difficult. So, welcome in Italy.
Yes.
Even if only
Thank you.
virtually.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for the interview. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, waiting for Monia, I call her again. Okay, I think we can start.
Okay.
Welcome back in Italy for the listener of Alchemy-Sound Radio. Okay, here's Monia. Welcome,
Yes,
Monia.
hi.
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 Okay.
Excuse me. I'm excited. Hi, Paul. Welcome to Italy and to
Thank you.
Alchemy-Sound and
Thank you very much.
to Alchemy-Sound Radio. Mark and I are honored to have you as a guest in our studio. Excuse me. Cannibal Corpse have been waiting for this interview for a very long time. They are finally thrilled to see you. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and I'm excited too. So.
Thank you.
Good. And you, Marco?
Okay, I'm ready. Let's start, Paul. Let's start with the big news that are about to arrive. On April 16th, Violence Unimagined finally will be released. Let us imagine what Cannibal Corpse offers us of so unimaginable on the 15th chapter.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy that we still are around doing this and 15 albums in and 30 years plus. Unbelievable, isn't it? So, it's really just the next chapter in the story, I think. Here we are, whenever time that we're given to write a new record, it's kind of that certain point in time. You got a few months to create and you do it, and here we go. So this is no different than I think we've done in the past. To me, it's just we're getting better as songwriters, and we're probably stepping up our game more so than we ever have. Who knows how much time you got left? You got to use it. Use it to your best advantage, I guess, at this point in life, right?
Yeah.
So we just want to do the best we can and push ourselves to the limit and write some intense songs. So I think we did do that on Violence Unimagined.
Yeah, good. I have something on a question of pushing the limit, but later. Okay. You started recording in January last year, just before the COVID storm hit the world. How did you manage the recording session during this period? Did your mood for this hard time affect the song? Can you see each other mates in studio, or ever the work is ever done at home?
Well, luckily it worked out well. Actually, we recorded in April of last year.
Okay.
So, right, that when the COVID hit about a year ago now, we were at the tail end of wrapping up the production and just getting ready to go into the studio. So for a minute there was some concern about, are we going to be able to go to the studio? Is the studio going to be open? Are we going to be able to even travel in the street? Drive down to to St. Petersburg, of course, an hour down the road from Tampa, and those were our concerns mostly, more than anything. So when we knew we were able to do that, it was business as usual then, just go in the studio, everyone does their thing. The only setback, and it really wasn't even a setback, is Alex lives in Portland, Oregon these days.
Okay.
And he wasn't able to travel from Oregon to Tampa because of the virus, and he didn't want to, did want to, even if he could, just understandably so, with this, with what was going on. So he ended up having to record his bass tracks in his home studio. So that was kind of the only difference. Other than that, it was really business as usual, and we were able to do what we needed to do in the studio, of course, like any other album. So we got lucky in a lot of ways.
Oh, that's good. Good news. Okay, Eric Rutan officially joins the band as a guitarist. I read on the first official announcement that of Violence Unimagined that he composed some songs. How much of his long experience as a musician do you think has become a part in Cannibal Corpse sound?
Well, I mean, he's going to contribute his version of Cannibal Corpse, of course. We've made changes over the years, in the lineup, and whoever comes in brings their their style of writing. Yet it's still got to be Cannibal Corpse, So I think Eric, he's been around us long enough. We've known him for a long time. He's been with the band in the producing sense for many years, and obviously he toured with us now. So when he's joining the band and he's actually contributing material now, well, he knows he's going to have to write a little bit different. He's going to be himself, but he's not writing Hate Eternal songs. He's not writing Morbid Angel songs. He's writing Cannibal Corpse songs now. So it's just kind of getting Eric's take on what his version of Cannibal Corpse is, and so he contributed his 3 songs musically and lyrically, which was awesome, and it just gives us another aspect of the band. Then it's having Eric in there and his like I said, his flavor, his taste of what Cannibal Corpse is, and I think they fit in great. I think the fans are going to love his songs, and it's Eric, but yet it's Cannibal Corpse. So.
Oh, that's good. Violence Unimagined came out on the 31st anniversary since your first publication, Eaten Back to Life. Since then, your musical style, always technically evolved very much. In each album, you always manage a truly inviolable instrumental growth. How do you approach your instruments and composition method from year to year? Do you study different musical genre to try to incorporate different instrumental techniques into your recordable style?
Yeah, I think we're going to have outside influences over years, because your personal musical tastes may vary and change, but I think, I think we're always just trying to be Cannibal Corpse, of course, and if anything, we've just gotten better because we've had the experience of playing longer. Back when you started, right, when we did it, Eaten Back to Life, we're basically coming out of our teenage years, and we've only been playing our instruments for a couple of years. So we're very inexperienced in so many ways, in songwriting and just, mastering your instrument or what have you. So I think that comes in time. The more we've played, the more, the wisdom you get from just being older and all that kind of stuff. I think it's just, then it just comes out of us, because I really believe it's, all those influences up to now, and even when we started, you're just trying to still be yourself, and that's what we were as Cannibal in the early years, right? You're taking your influences that you started with, like Slayer and Metallica, right, and Creator and all those bands, and you're forming your own style, and then we're just kind of refined it, I think, over years, so. And then you just always want to do something a little bit different. I think that was always key to us is, we want to retain the Cannibal Corpse death metal, pure, adrenaline driven sound. But at the same time, you want to kind of still do something a little bit different every time. You don't want to feel that you're doing the exact same thing over and over. Yeah. But like I said, we want to be Cannibal Corpse, and I think we've been able to maintain that, which is why we're probably still around and why we have the fan base that we have. People know what to expect from us, that it's going to be brutal death metal regardless. So like I said, just a lot of experience, and, the older you get, the better you get. And, I think that, that's what's happened with us.
Okay, good. And about how older you get and pushing yourself to limit. I saw a very interesting web episode of Drum Talk, and you say that you always want to play in your heaviest way possible. Okay, how do you physically prepare to do it after so many years? Surely your current physical approach on drums, especially on drums, is different when you was 20 years old. Of course, that's about pushing yourself to the limits because you're playing brutal, not pop.
Yeah, I mean, it's very physical music, of course, and the older you get, it doesn't get any easier, right? When you're younger, you can rely on more of your just youth, that adrenaline you have, that just energy you have from just being young, and that's what I think I did. And it was more like just kind of a reckless abandon back then. There's no thinking. You're just, going crazy and you go play. And I think that's what comes with also with the experience, like we were just talking about the songwriting, everything. You tend to learn how to use your mind more, and then maybe pace yourself a little more. Be able to work on little things that you might not have done when you were younger, and that's what I did. I know I felt that if I was going to be playing at this age, I really needed to work on little things, like just your positioning on the drums. I mean, whatever, drumsticks, heights of things, all those kind of things you needed to work on. And I did, I know that for a fact. And then just in general, it's just the staying healthy, I guess, trying to eat better. You didn't think of those things when you were 20 years old, eating and staying hydrated and all that kind of stuff. And I think that is so important, to, get a good night's sleep, eat right, stay hydrated, get some exercise in, and you got to practice, and you just got to use your mind a little bit more so here than ever. But it's still, either way, it's not getting any easier, because the older we get, that's the way it goes, right? When you're going to be pushing your body, and how much can you do it? How long can you go? I don't know. It's the end is obviously closer than the beginning at this point in the band and in life in general, right? How long can I keep this up? I mean, I'll give it my best shot and keep doing what I can do to improve and to maintain this, but it's it's tough the older you get, for sure.
Yeah, it's like an athletic. Like to be an athlete for the Olympiad.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You're right. Totally.
Yeah. In your official biography, Bible of Butchery, you mentioned Kiss as your first important love as a kid. And you, when you start to play in drums, you always say that you want that no one teach you. Okay, who inspired you as a drummer when you started? Who, when you were a kid? Sorry, in your beginnings, who made you say, "I want to play like him. I want to be like him"? Maybe Peter Criss.
Well, it's funny too, right? Because Kiss was my first love. Exactly. I mean, I just worshipped Kiss, and most most kids, boys back then, and you grew up when I did. They were such a big force and a big influence on your life, right? And it was funny because I look back at Kiss and I wasn't really gravitating towards the drums as much. I was more into like Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley and more of the guitar. I think that was kind of maybe a little bit my first love was guitar, actually.
You started with the guitar.
Yeah, and then the older I got, I think, I don't know, once I started going to more concerts. And I seem to always then more want to watch the drumming, I guess, because it seemed like there's more going on with the drummer. I was just more fascinated in watching what the drummer's doing because he's moving his whole body and obviously more going on than, say, maybe just playing the guitar, the bass, or the singing or whatever. But I mean, I guess it was until I got maybe early 80s, mid 80s, then when I'm obviously now you want to play music for a living or for not a living, but you just want to create. You want to be in a band. You're more than just a fan. And, bands like Metallica, I mean, Lars Ulrich was a huge influence. I mean, when you first hear the band Metallica, and then it just changes your life and, it changes your attitude and your the whole, the way you look at music because it's changing, of course, but I'll tell you, I always say what made me want to play how I play today was hearing Slayer, Dave Lombardo, especially on Rain and Blood. I mean, we were fans, of course, of Show No Mercy and Hell Awaits. But when Rain and Blood came out, I guess I was, how old was I? 17. And then, I'm obviously playing already a little bit, and drums are, in there. But as soon as I heard Rain and Blood, it was like, wow, that just blew me away to the point of, this is how I want to kind of play, and I really felt that was my, kind of template, my guide to push me to be an intense drummer. So yeah, Lombardo is, a huge influence for me.
Yes, Rain in Blood changed a lot.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, like for Iron Maiden, even Cannibal Corpse have an artist which we can consider the sixth member of the band is Vince Locke, Mr. Vince Locke. How do you work together? Do you first give him a title of the album or even the lyrics of the album? How did you get in touch with him for the first time?
Well, we're great to have a relation with Vince. Exactly, we feel very honored, and it's just amazing to have this artist for our whole career, right? It goes hand in hand, exactly, like he's our sixth member. But back then, when we were able to, we're kids, we don't know. Hey, we can have somebody draw an album cover. We can go to a studio. All these things we didn't know. But what we did know is, when we're Cannibal Corpse and we want to be, portraying what we do on our albums, obviously very visual and disgusting and horrific. Vince was doing his Dead World comic at that time, and we had a lot of friends that were into comics, and some of us were too, and all that. But we saw his art, and it was brought to our attention. Wow, this guy's amazing. Yeah, we should try to get Vince to do our cover. And it was easy as just trying to get a hold of him or just contacting him back then. I mean, I remember we were living in Buffalo, New York, of course, and I believe he was outside of Detroit, Michigan. And I think back then, you got to get on the telephone or something. I think we called information just to try to get his number, and then we did, and we called him, and it was crazy that we were able to talk to him, and then he agreed to do it. So that's how that all started, and then of course he's been with us ever since. But the way we've always worked with them then is you're right. We would have a title. Always going to come up with a title first, and then whether we have an idea or not. If we do have an idea, then we're going to just relay that to Vince and say, hey, this is the title. This is what we're kind of going for. This scene or that, and we've done that with a few of the albums. But there's a lot of the albums where we just don't have an idea. And Violence Unimagined being one of them. When I came up with the title Violence Unimagined, I just thought, wow, this is a great title. I mean, this has got to be brutal. This has got to be an intense cover here, because listen to what it's saying, Violence Unimagined. Well, but I had no idea what to do. So I gave Vince the title and said, hey man, go with it. What do you got? Right. And he came up with some ideas, and then we worked in conjunction with him, to get the final piece. So it's a good thing that we work together, we collaborate, but it's varied over the years how the covers get done. So it's great to be able to work with him that way, and he just wants to please us, of course. I mean, it's his art. We don't want to step on his toes, but at the same time, it's our band, and he wants to, make the guys happy. And, he's done an amazing job with all the covers for sure. And we're, very fortunate to have him as our artist. Yes.
Yeah, he's an amazing artist. And the new work is really, really brutal. It reminds me of Butchered at Birth. Something.
Yeah, no, I think we wanted to go back a little old school. It's been a little while, since we've done like the really graphic cover, And then, like I said, with the title of Violence Unimagined, well, it's got to be pretty insane here, because it can't be something tame or subtle. It's got to be something that's just going to be like, whoa, you're going to see this and be blown away by. And he did that. And the reaction so far from the people. The fans it's been positive. I think everyone's happy that we got an old school cover like that, reminiscent of Butchered at Birth there. So.
Yeah, and I think that Germany hates you for the new. You have problem as in the old times with Germany.
Well, that's why we have to have the censored version, right? In a perfect world, we just have the one version. But when we sent it to Metal Blade, of course, what do they say? there's no way, right? Germany's going to ban this, and it's not going to be able to get into this market. So we have to come up, of course, with the censored version, and we did, and that's still a pretty brutal version too, pretty intense. But yeah, we had to do it.
Okay. I read about Texas yesterday that it's free to open to the concert again, but you can plan tour for this album. Do you know something about this?
No, yeah, I mean, I know. I just read that too, like probably everybody else in the world, that Texas are opening up, and I just read like New York State is opening up like a third, capacity, and things are going to start opening up. I mean, obviously with the vaccine starting to roll out. They're talking in the States, the president just said by end of May there would be enough for every American, so I mean, those are, I guess, good signs in things progressing and kind of somewhat getting back to normal. So it still may take some time. I mean, it's good that they can do shows like here in Florida. Shows still happen. Nothing really in the touring sense, because I think that it's not going to work. Bands are going to go on tour because it's not going to be effective. It's going to be a financial ruin to be able to not do what you normally do and play every day and go from city to city, but shows are happening here and there. So it might still take a little while, but hopefully by the end of the year, we're kind of back to somewhat normalcy to where we can have some touring going on, and, maybe by next year we're, in the full swing of, being able to be on the road. So who knows, but nothing concrete with us right now.
Okay. I hope too for America. In Europe, it will be more difficult.
Yeah. And that stinks, because we know that obviously it would be tough for us probably even to go to Europe for a little while, So, I mean, if we can get touring done in the States, of course, that's huge. It's just it's going to be unfortunate, because who knows when American bands are going to make it over to Europe, or for that matter, European bands to even be touring in Europe. So, yeah, it's still got some time, but at least I think we're heading in the right direction. But, got to be patient, I guess.
Okay. Monia has a last question for you.
Yes. Your music points to a very strong emotional impact. The fans under the stage receive a great charge of energy, which they can turn in positive vibes. Do you feel that energy when you are behind your drum?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you always able to meet them on tour and get the same amount of energy and affection back.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I think death metal is alive music. I mean, it started in clubs, playing in a tight knit, venue with the fans right in front of your face. I mean, and the band that, we feed off that, of course, when we got the energy of the fans going crazy and stage diving and just slam dancing and just going nuts. I mean, how do you not feed off of that, And that is so huge. I mean, I think it's a big, big part of death metal, and it's a huge part for Cannibal Corpse. So, right, when we're up on stage, that's what's driving you. You obviously know you have to play the songs regardless if there's 10 people there or 10,000, right? You still got to do your job. But when there's more people and they're going completely crazy like that, well, obviously it's going to make you feel great. And you're just going to give it, have that energy, like I said, just that, the connection. I mean, amazing. And then, right, meeting the fans, what a huge thing for that. Right? Just to know you touched somebody and you moved them in a positive way. And, fans come up to you after the show and, it's so great to meet you. Thanks for coming to my city or my country. And, you really left a mark and something they're going to remember forever. I mean, that's such a huge impact, and I think that makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you've accomplished something then, with the band, because you're actually touching people in such a positive light like that it's unforgettable, and it'll last a lifetime. So it's an incredible feeling.
Yeah, I saw you something like 25 times live. So, so I know this point.
Next time I come with Mark or we to your concert.
I hope we can came to a concert of Cannibal Corpse, obviously.
Yeah.
With Monia, they never seen you live, so she has to study.
His energy is life for a band and for the fans, I think.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, I hope we get to play for you guys again soon. I know we got to be patient here, but I'm sure we'll be back at some point. And always great shows in Italy, and we have a great time coming there, and we have amazing time, amazing shows. So we can't wait to come back for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do you remember any particular episode in our country, perhaps in Italy?
Well, I just remember coming to, playing like Rome, just going to Rome, playing Rome for the first time was incredible. I mean, just being in Rome. I mean, wow, what an amazing city, and incredible times, of course. And we haven't played Rome in a long time. We used to come all the time back in the early days. And then we haven't played there in I can't remember when we played Rome last, which is unfortunate because I'd love to go back and just, see more of the city again. But, these days, we're playing Milan a lot, and always great shows. They're always amazing shows playing at Alcatraz there, and incredible time. And I know last couple of times we played some outdoor places as well. And that's a lot of fun. So, I mean, I just remember just, great times being in, great people, great times in Italy. And we always have an amazing time, amazing shows. So, like I said, I hope we can come back sooner than later.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye, and we want to thank you very much for your kindness and to come back in Italy for a short time. Even if only virtually, it's been a great gift for us. Do you want to leave the listeners of Alchemy-Sound Radio a message?
Well, just really thank you for the support for Cannibal Corpse over the years. I mean, really, if it wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't be here. So, we're just happy to still be around and to be a band and like you said, really just thank you for the support for Cannibal Corpse, and hope to see everybody soon.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
Okay,
See you soon.
thank you.
I'm
nice
smiling.
Nice meeting you.
Bye. Bye. See you
Bye-bye.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Subjugation of the victim of the we control. Inhumane harvest. Surgical precision taking all that will be sold.